Trump warns, "We'll eradicate them if we have to," threatening to order Israel back into Gaza and wipe out Hamas. For now, a ceasefire hangs by a thread as White House envoys press plans to disarm Gaza. Inside Israel, leaders trade blows and hardliners demand blood. One decision could shatter a fragile peace. US President Donald Trump said he could order Israel to return to the withdrawn areas of Gaza and eradicate Hamas if necessary. But for now, he is holding off to give the fragile ceasefire a chance to succeed.
We made a deal with Hamas that they're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated, and they know that. So they went in, and I don't believe it was the leadership, but they had some rebellion in there among themselves, and they killed some people, a lot of people.
Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump stressed that the Palestinian group did not have the backing of Iran anymore, and there could be violence if it did not respect the deal.
But this is a violent group. You probably noticed over the last 100 years, this is a very violent group of people. And they got very rambunctious, and they did things that they shouldn't be doing. And if they keep doing it, then we're going to go in and straighten it out, and it'll happen very quickly and pretty violently, unfortunately. In addition, you have Israel would go in 2 minutes if I asked them to go in. I could tell them, go in and take care of it. But right now, we haven't said that. We're going to give it a little chance, and hopefully there will be a little less violence. But right now, they're violent people. Hamas has been very violent. But they don't have the backing of Iran anymore. They don't have the backing of really anybody anymore. They have to be good. And if they're not good, they'll be eradicated.
Trump's comments came as his senior advisors, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, held meetings in Jerusalem while Vice President J.D. Vance departed for Israel. The ceasefire, viewed as the first stage of a broader US peace plan, envisions Hamas being disarmed and Gaza being handed over to a transitional technocratic government. As part of the deal, Hamas has released all surviving hostages and returned several bodies, though disputes remain over others. Israel, in turn, freed over 1,100 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. Witkoff and Kushner also met with senior Israeli military officials to assess preparations for the next phase of Trump's peace initiative, focused on dismantling and demilitarizing post-war Gaza. Israel's Knesset opened its winter session on October 20th, with fiery exchanges between Netanyahu and opposition leader Yair Lapid, underscoring deep political divisions over the Gaza war and Israel's security direction. Netanyahu began his address by vowing to bring home the remaining slain hostages, calling it a sacred mission. Netanyahu said Hamas agreed to release all captives only after Israeli troops entered Gaza City, claiming the group felt the sword on its neck.
A year ago, not a year ago, not a year and a half ago, at no point was Hamas ready for the outline we achieved. Now, recapture all the settlements at once. IDF control over most of the Gaza Strip, IDF presence in most areas of the Gaza Strip, and an explicit decision, with broad international consensus, including Arab countries and almost the entire Muslim world, on the demilitarization of the Strip. We are determined to achieve these goals of the war and to eliminate Hamas as a political and military factor. Success is how we bring this outline, because Hamas felt the sword on its back. For 2 years, we exerted enormous military pressure on them. Pressure that grew and through which we freed almost 200 hostages even before the recent rounds.
Netanyahu insisted that if he had heeded calls to halt the war last year, Hamas and Iran would have emerged stronger.
We recently eliminated most of these murderers. We eliminated tens of thousands of terrorists, destroyed countless terrorist infrastructures, and took control of all the crossings to the Gaza Strip. We crushed the Iranian axis that Hamas relied on. The pressure on Hamas reached its peak with my decision to enter Gaza City, the last stronghold of the terror organization. Hamas understood immediately that its impossible demands would not be met. They insisted time and time again that they would not release all the prisoners unless we continued to control Gaza, that they would not disarm, and that Israel would withdraw the IDF from all territory of the Gaza Strip and retain control of the crossings. That did not happen. None of that exists.
Rejecting opposition criticism, he vowed that any future Hamas aggression would face a heavy price and urged lawmakers to lower internal tensions, stressing unity as key to Israel's strength.
We attacked dozens of targets along the length and breadth of the Strip. We eliminated many terrorists, including elected commanders. I said from the beginning, a ceasefire is not a license for Hamas to threaten us. Aggression against us has and will have a very heavy price. And at the end of the process that we agreed with President Trump in our joint work, Hamas's military and governmental power is in jeopardy. Even in a wider circle, our enemies are trying to rearm. They're trying to challenge us in the leafy, wild Middle East. Old threats take on new forms, and there are also new threats. We are on guard, and we are also working to eliminate them. Not on everything. We know and may not know everything. One of our hands holds a weapon to defeat. Our other hand is extended in peace to those who want to make peace with us. And today there are quite a few, even a lot. Alongside the great challenges ahead, there are great opportunities for expanding the circle of peace.
Lapid, in turn, accused Netanyahu of rewriting history, asking who was the prime minister when Hamas attacked on October 7th and when Iran and Hezbollah built their arsenals. He said Netanyahu's failures had weakened Israel's security.
On September 20th, 2023, I held a press conference and said, a great disaster is going to happen to us because the Prime Minister neglected Israel's security, and you went to Channel 14 and started telling them there was no problem, just exaggerating. And less than 2 weeks later, it was October 7th. So don't talk to us about who is on alert for security. If we want to keep Israel safe, we need one thing: a different government and another prime minister. Truly different, God forbid.
Netanyahu concluded by calling for unity and was met with applause from coalition lawmakers. Itamar Ben Gvir, the chairman of the Otzma Yehudit party and Minister of National Security, has sharply criticized Netanyahu, accusing him of delaying the death penalty law for terrorists. Speaking at his party's faction meeting ahead of the Knesset's winter session, which could be its last if early elections are called, Ben Gvir said coalition agreements with Likud have become just markings on paper. Ben Gvir argued that despite a clear commitment to pass the law within the current Knesset, the government had stalled it with what he called strange delays and excuses. About a month ago, the Knesset's National Security Committee advanced the bill despite objections from the Prime Minister's aides and warnings that it might endanger ongoing hostage release efforts. The vote was later ruled invalid by the Knesset's legal advisor. In response, Ben Gvir issued an ultimatum, demanding that the bill be brought to a plenary vote within 3 weeks, or his party would stop supporting coalition legislation. He also called for renewed fighting in Gaza, urging the government to conquer and crush Hamas.